Hello, everyone, and welcome into this edition of the Earl Hall Show. I'm really excited about the conversation that I'm about to have with Felicia Brookins. She is our special guest today, our honored guest on the Earl Hall Show. She's a four-time award-winning Christian fiction author and the 2024 Best Screenplay Award recipient. She's also the founder and host of The Write the Vision, a virtual workshop for aspiring authors, and Prison to Pens, a literary event that helps former incarcerated individuals share their stories through writing. Felicia's passion for storytelling and empowering others is truly inspiring. Felicia, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you, Earl. I'm so honored for you to have me today.
Well, it is definitely my honor as well. I mean, we've been in like each other's circles for more than a few years now, and I've worked with you before, and we've done some things together. Kind of catch me up to speed here, like 2024 going into 2025. It's like all these things that you're doing. What are you so passionate about right now that is just allowing you to wake up every morning?
What I'm mostly passionate about now, as far as the contributions that I'm making to my community and what I consider to the world, is using theater as a form of expression, of therapy for children, for teens, and for youth. And so, with that being my passion, I have decided to host an upcoming event that will be a precursor to my production, which is called the Brownie, an Unforgettable Trip, which again is theater and is a form, I say, of therapy and allowing youth and our teens to be able to maybe better express themselves, and even to help parents to know what to look for when it comes to mental health challenges with their teens and their youth.
You know, it seems mental health has become a buzzword that we've started to hear more, especially even in our community, which is good because our community hasn't always been the greatest at taking advantage of like therapy or talking to a counselor or things of that nature. How is it that you were able to come up with an idea to kind of meld the worlds of mental health and theater?
Well, Earl, honestly, I say any good idea I get, it definitely comes from the Holy Spirit. Any good
Okay.
idea that I get. I wanted this not to be just entertainment. Even though, people come to the theater or they go to the opera and they're there to be entertained. But I wanted this to be more than that. I wanted this to be used as a tool that would make a difference in the lives of the people that decided to come and sit in those seats and watch this production come to life. I wanted this to be something that maybe a child would sit back and say, yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, that's me. Well, maybe I can relate to my counselor, my faith leader, or my parent that way so that they'll know what I feel.
Okay. That's really inspiring too. I mean, when you look at, theater, entertainment, things we watch on Netflix or whatever, sometimes we can get so invested in what's going on, we feel like we're actually in it or we're there. And there's so many different lessons to be learned. When you create these productions, are you thinking about, okay, this is the point and this is the lesson I want to communicate? And how do you do that?
Yes, most definitely. When I'm writing my scripts out for the production, I am thinking about what can be said by this character that would affect or wake up the person that hears it. What is going to be said that someone can relate to? So, again, that this can be a tool that helps them. And so I do that by being very intentional in the lines that I have the characters to say in this production, because again, I want them to be able to dialogue in a way that wakes something up for the youth, the teen, or even the parent. I want them to say something that I feel people in the audience will relate to, and that it will get people to thinking if they haven't related to it before, especially with faith leaders. We have a virtual event we've done several months ago called Faith, Prayer, and Therapy. What is the role of the church, if any, when it comes to mental health? So those that attend that are faith leaders, we want this production to, hey, wake you up and say, well, maybe we do have some biases in the church. Maybe there are some stigmas. Or maybe we need to look into maybe having a social worker on staff for some of our congregation. Or Or maybe we need to have a different approach when somebody comes to us, other than always just fast and pray about it. It'll be all right. Just pray about it. It's going to go away. And that right there by itself makes teens, you say, I don't want to tell them that, because prayer is not that prayer doesn't work, but that ain't all that's working for me right now. I need somebody that I can talk to say how I feel.
Are you finding that the teens today are more open and forthcoming and direct with how they speak than maybe our generation was?
Some, yes, but I also think that there are a lot of teens that are using more physical violence or bullying to express what's going on with them. But they most definitely speak up more about what they think and feel. I'm just concerned about the way, and I'm concerned about those who don't feel that they can express themselves verbally and talk to another adult and feel safe and confident in doing so. And so
Right.
instead of expressing yourself, that group that is afraid to say it, they show it in another way. Maybe it's drugs, maybe it's bullying somebody, maybe it's being very disrespectful, or it could just be very withdrawn. So, how do we get them to feel safe to express themselves? How do we get them to know and feel that they are seen and that somebody understands it without them feeling intimidated?
Yeah. Are you finding, or have you found some common themes that you're building these productions around because of the conversations that you're having with these young adults and children? And is there a difference in your approach, whether it's male or female?
I would say there's not a difference in the approach as far as even a male or female that's watching this production or that's going to participate in this Teen Mental Health Summit. I think regardless of gender, you all have the same feelings and can consider how you might express yourself with those. I will add with the theater, one of the things that stands out for me in doing this is the theme of teen mental health, the theme of having somebody there to talk to, the theme of what can happen when you don't have someone there to talk to. Also, domestic violence is a platform in this production where it gives the person that's attending, watching this, the opportunity to see the or think about the fact that there may be violence going on in my home. And so then shouldn't be surprised if my son or daughter is dating somebody that's similar to my abuser. And then you may say, well, why are you dating that person? That person is bad for you. Well, where does that come from? It's the example that you're setting in your house. Your child sees the violence there and they may attract to somebody. So again, that gives the parents the opportunity to step back and say, maybe I need to see what I can do to stop myself from being the abuser or being the person abused.
Mhm.
So those two platforms right there, along again with the biases and stigmas that people can take on in our households of faith when it comes to people dealing with mental health issues. My main character, her daughter's dealing with this, and she just tell her, you know what it is, and your prayer life just ain't strong enough. Who wants that to be the answer? That is defeating. So why would she go to her mother, about that? Or, have you talked to the pastor about what's going on? Well, the mother's too ashamed to do so. So again, we also address that. Don't be ashamed. It's okay not to be okay. And it's
Yeah.
okay to find a safe space to talk about.
Well, I mean, what I'm thinking about now, I mean, my wife and I, we've raised four children, right? We're trying to get the youngest one out of here. He'll be a senior next year. Gosh, I can't wait.
That's what you say.
Look, let your yay be yay and your
And
nay.
you'll never be there.
Right. But what I'm thinking about too is I noticed, some of the conversations that I've had over the years that we've raised our kids is that we find we're competing with people they're listening to on social media that don't and are not qualified, but they're listening to these people. I mean, you've got 19-year-old life coaches out here talking to people about issues with your parents and how to handle those issues and why your parents are wrong. How much of that are you dealing with in what it is that you do?
Well, we have a couple of young people that are that are in our production, in the cast. So yeah, there are even times at rehearsal, you have to deal with the phone being up and them scrolling through. But I think that we deal with that, maybe 2 or 3% of the production, because we meet virtually. with them. We ask questions. We talk about, how do you feel about this line being in the script? And there are times when we have serious conversations about teen mental health. We encourage them to be a part of, to view the virtual discussions that we have on faith, prayer, and therapy. We have set a loving environment, I believe, with our cast, where we feel like our young people should feel that they can come to us for a hug or an ear. And also with the topics that are in this production, we want them to be able to use these and be a part of these to see for themselves what is real and what is not. And if you have a question about something that you've seen on social media dealing with that the people in this production are people that you can feel safe to come to and ask
Yeah.
about that and discuss that with.
What are the things that you maybe see where you're getting the most pushback on, where the kids or the young adults don't get it, but you have to explain that out? Where's some of that pushback? Because I'm sure there is.
Really, I would say the first time we hosted this production, we really got good feedback from the kids, believe it or not. We had social workers there. And so some of them even went and talked to the social workers. One area I do think that may be a little different or uncomfortable or different from them is the fact that we're trying to do this through theater. They come to see this production and we just want to laugh and be entertained. But then you have this really serious 2 or 3 scenes that take place in this production, and you weren't really expecting to see that there. We just came to laugh. We didn't come to have our emotions stirred up. We didn't come to be shocked. We didn't come to have to all of a sudden maybe think back to something and put our feelings and emotions out. So I would say the area of just putting it out there in theater again is unexpected. Even though we have a trigger warning on the promotional material, that's still not what they expected to see. We just came to see our friends in the play.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said a word there, and I want to ask you a specific question about this when you say trigger warning or triggers. And, people will say, well, they triggered me, and that's why I X, Y, and Z. And I heard someone say, I can't remember who it was, but it made sense to me. So I want to ask you about it. They said, your triggers are your responsibility, no one else's.
Well, the reason I would disagree with that is because the effect of those triggers or the consequences of those triggers affect other people. And you have people that are not yet at an level where some people may use the term emotionally intelligent. They're not at that level yet where they can deal with something by just breathing. They're not at that level yet where they can just recall something really great that happened in your life when this happens. They're not at that level yet. And so when they're not at that level and they get triggered by something, it's going to come out in some type of way. And so when it comes out, it's going to splash on the person that's in the space with them at that time. So no, it's not just, your responsibility. It's not just on you because it's going to affect that next person also. So everybody's at different levels.
Different levels. I'm a bus operator, right? So I'm dealing with sane people and insane people, drug addicts, everything in between. And so I guess all of us have triggers, but I've had to train myself. Whatever they're saying to me that's out of the way, it really has nothing to do with it.
But you're at that level where you can do
Right.
that. See, there are some that's going to be like, oh, okay, so what you want to do? And it won't be good. What
Right.
you want to do? We're going
Do
to
you think
fight
that
this
comes from
out because that's how I
self-esteem?
learned.
Do you think some of that comes from lack of self-esteem? Because if someone calls you a dog, you're not a dog. And I'm using a friendly term, but
Right.
it's like, you're not. I've been called everything but a child of God, but you are right because there was a time in Earl Hall's life we would have got down.
When you can get the business, that's what you want to do.
Right. Right.
But I don't think it's all a self-esteem issue. I think part of it also is past experiences. Things that happened in your life as a child, or maybe in a past relationship with someone that hurt you, wounded you, and you never really dealt with it. And so when you hear it or see it or it's said or done to you, it triggers you. I'll give you a good example. My husband can say my name a certain way.
Yeah.
There's a certain way he says my name that can be good, it can be bad. And if he says my name in this certain tone, when he calls me, I get this ball in my stomach immediately. It grips me. Why is that? Not because of my self esteem, but because of my past experiences when my name was called in that way and it was bad. It was something abusive. It was something hurtful. It was something that terrified me. I was
Yeah.
afraid. And so when he says my name in that certain way, it grips me. And so I say to him, don't say my name that way. He doesn't do it intentionally. He just doesn't. He knows now, but as I'll tell everybody, when he brought me down the aisle, and I came down the aisle to him, he didn't see that big trunk or trauma back there. I was dragging that too up under that wedding gown, and I did my best not pour it all out on him, but I had to share with him over the years all of who I was emotionally and the
Yeah.
things that I had to deal with. I would always tell him when I have nightmares, he would come and get me out of those nightmares. Where did those nightmares come from? Not because of my self-esteem, but because of past hood traumas I dealt with.
Yeah. I think all of us on some degree, some level, have that we have to overcome. First, we have to recognize it and do that.
Right, that part right there.
Recognize it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. This is very interesting. We're going to take a short break, but we're going to be right back because I've got some more questions for Miss Brookins and her productions and something else we're going to be talking about. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. Parents and educators, and most importantly, teens, are you searching for a space where you can be heard, understood, and truly supported? Then mark your calendars for March 1st in Clinton, Mississippi. Join award-winning author and screenwriter Felicia Brookins at Questonsbury Library for a safe space for teens and youth, a free event tackling the real issues you face every day. This is more than just a conversation. It's a movement. Safe Space for Teens leads up to the encore performance of The Brownie, an unforgettable trip, a powerful theater production that takes an unfiltered look at teen challenges. Your voice matters. Be there March 1st and step into a space created just for you. Ready to transform your life? Transformation, How Mama's Wisdom Unlocks the Secrets to Success, is your guide to resilience, purpose, and creating a life you love. Mama said, it's your little red wagon. You can pull it or push it. And if you've got one man, you can get another. Packed with timeless wisdom, practical strategies, and heartfelt stories, this book will help you tackle challenges and embrace your next breakthrough. Grab your copy on Amazon today. How Mama's Wisdom Unlocks the Secrets to Success.
Entrepreneurs, authors, and business owners, are you ready to get noticed? Get a 20-minute interview feature on the Earl Hall Show. A custom 30-second promo video to market your business. Plus, 6 commercial spots in 6 upcoming episodes. All for just $97. Limited spots available. Don't miss out. Let's put your brand in front of the right audience. Click the link now and let's make it happen.
All right, and welcome back into the Earl Hall Show. We're here with Felicia Brookins. We've been having a fascinating conversation, Felicia. This has been a learning experience and inspiring for me, and I'm sure as well for the viewers and listeners and watchers and all of that as well. Talk to us about Safe Space. What is that all about?
Safe Space is another amazing event, a great idea. I'm telling you, the Holy Spirit gives me these ideas.
All right.
So I wanted to do something to prepare people for the upcoming production, May the 3rd. And I wanted to do something that would make a meaningful impact on the community and that would get our youth and teens interested and our social workers and faith leaders. So Safe Space is a teen mental health event where we're going to have experts in the areas of social work, psychotherapy. We're going to have people that come in that work with children on a daily basis. Those individuals are going to come in and they are going to have a conversation with the teens and the youth about things that they're dealing with going on every day in their life. We're going to also have them to do presentations dealing with different areas that we think teens are having challenges in mentally. We also have 2 spoken word artists that are going to come in, and they're going to do a piece centered around teen mental health. And once that's done, they're going to allow the teens and the youth to talk to them about what they think about what they heard. How does that relate to what's going on in your life? And we want them to understand this is a safe space. We want it to also be a safe space for adults because we want them to also talk to the kids and tell them the things you've had to deal with and gone through to help them think, maybe I can talk to that person. Maybe they will understand. So this is going to be a great, great event filled with a lot of discussion. Hopefully, at the end of the day, a lot of breakthroughs, or at least kids feeling a little more confident and safe to be able to better express themselves and to know that it's okay to feel that way and that there are people that they're going to connect to on that day that can be a resource and help for them once that event is done.
Where is this going to be, Felicia?
It's going to be in Clinton, Mississippi. It's going to be at Quisenberry Library. It starts at 11 a.m. It is a free event because I didn't want that to be the reason the kids couldn't come. It's going to be March the 1st.
March 1st. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, so that's coming up. All right. With that, how long have you been preparing for this event, and what has gone into that? Because I know that has to have been a lot.
I started working on this event, I would say in the fall, right around the time that I had secured the majority of my cast for us to start learning our lines for this production coming up in May. And so I started then. It has been a lot of late nights trying to think of the best way to set this agenda up that is most conducive for the teens and the youth. It's been a lot of phone calls, talking to experts. It's been a lot of researching who these individuals are that are going to talk to these kids. Do they have what is of value that these kids need to be of a help to them? It has been a lot of calls and emails of sponsorships, donations, because of course it's a free event and we're going to be there for a couple of hours, but we got to feed these babies or they disconnect from us. It has been rewarding, I would say, to me already, because as I prepared, I also placed myself in it and think, how would this benefit me? If I was a child or a teenager, when it was, how would I want this to be? How would I want the room to feel when I walk into this space? So I am really appreciative of all the sponsors that have joined on board with us to bring this to life, as well as the donors that have assisted, because we have got a great program. But in order to do that and give them the very, very best experience, not only do I have to pour my all into it, including my own financial contributions, but the individuals that are going to connect with these kids, I need to know that they also are going to give their all to them.
Absolutely. With all that you do, well, I'll even go back to all that you've been through. And with all that you do, what do you think is your greatest strength? And how has it served you in your work?
I would say perseverance, because there's been a lot of things that have gotten in the way or tried to be stumbling blocks or tried to shut down just the production itself coming to life. It was quite a journey getting there. And there are times when I just really, really had to take a deep breath, breathe in, and step over the things that happened, because some of them, a lot of people would have just said, that's it. I throw my hands up. It's just not going to happen. But I also knew this was so important. If it wasn't, this would not be happening. So in a way, that was also my motivator. You just all of this going on proves to me that this must be something powerful, that it's got a great message in it. And so, yeah, perseverance would be it for me. And I will have to add too, with that perseverance, the belief that I have that to act in another manner other than one where I'm able to control my own emotions and put that aside. Like you said, the things you say to me have to bounce off. For me, my witness of who I say I am, of the woman of God that I say I am, was greatly at risk in all of this. And so you have to focus in on the fact that you represent whoever you say you represent. That is going to reflect on this production. Mm-hmm. And how you handle things that get in the way of this production and everything else that's going to come from this. Your reputation is at risk here. So, yeah, you just persevere through it. You get through it.
Yeah, keep pushing.
Yeah.
Again, with everything that you've gone through in life and with all the things that you're doing now, if you could go back and talk to your younger self, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
Felicia, you really are going to get out of this. I'm so glad that you chose not to kill yourself that night. You're going to get out of this. And it is going to be some great things that come out of this. I know you don't believe it right now, But trust me, girl, you are going to do some great things and you're going to help a lot of people.
And I believe you because you're just smiling like I don't know what. It's
True.
like I love that smile. You started off and then you just bought
I
yourself
had
right
to,
out.
yeah.
Appreciate Felicia, how can people stay in contact with you and where would you like to send them to get more information?
They can locate me on Facebook at Book Felicia Brookins. They also can find information more about the production on info page at the Brownie. If you want to contact me via email, it's authorfeliciabrookins@gmail.com. I'm also on Instagram at Author Felicia Kelly Brookins. So you can find me there.
Okay. Well, Felicia, this has been great. I thank you so much for just being
Thank
so
you.
transparent and forthcoming with the information that you're giving. And what you're doing is very powerful, is very needed. And so I'm hoping that everybody shows up that can in Mississippi for you for your event for the Safe Space. So
Thank you.
Felicia Brookins has been my guest today on the Earl Hall Show. Thank you so much, Felicia, for being here. Thank you, the listening and watching audience, for participating as well. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Earl Hall Show.